how are you doing? This is Pastor Cheryl. I had a busy day today. I was going out doing visitation at the hospital. And anyway, so I'm hoping that this film's okay because the sun is setting. I'm out on the front porch again. And as you can see, this is a busy street. Okay? An ambulance just went by with the fire department. Noisy, noisy. Anyway, we are doing Jairus' Daughter in a woman's faith. Two women. There are two women here mentioned. Matthew 9:18 through 26. And I'll write it down for you so that you can look it up for yourself later on. While he was thus speaking to them, behold, a ruler came in and knelt before him, saying, My daughter just died, but come and lay your hand on her, and she'll live. And Jesus rose and followed him with his disciples. And behold, a woman who had suffered from a hemorrhage for 12 years came up behind him and touched the fringe of his garment. For she said to herself, if I could touch his garment, I shall be made well. Jesus turned and seeing her said, Take heart, daughter, your faith has made you well. And instantly the woman was made well. And when Jesus came to the ruler's house and saw the flute players and the crowd making a tumult, like a commotion, okay? He said, Depart, for the girl is not dead, but sleeping. And they laughed at him, and when the crowd had been put aside, he went in and took her by the hand, and the girl arose. And so the report of this went throughout all the district. Yeah, I'm hoping that you can see me well enough here. It would be really nice to have these gifts like Jesus had. I talked to our congregation before about the spiritual gifts. And, you could ask God for some of these gifts. Like, everybody's impressed with tongues, but tongues doesn't do too much, but make a lot of noise. But this gift of healing, and miracles is very special. And I would love it. I would love to be able to go, in Jesus' name be healed. Remember Oral Roberts? Do you remember him on TV when we were kids? Be healed. Like, wow, we were just so impressed. So was my grandmother. She used to watch that. And we'd watch it with her. She was a praying grandmother. And she was very special. She was very, very special. And actually, both grandmothers were. And anyway, trying to draw a correlation with this. Have you ever thought what would have happened if Jesus was born a girl? What if Jesus wasn't born a boy, but a girl? Could a woman do what Jesus did? Go around the countryside healing people and raising people from the dead? Probably. But probably wouldn't have been as well received because that was a patriarchal, patra meaning father, archal meaning, the society. And it was run by men. Today, I think it's kind of reversed. I think if you go to the Holy Lands today, you're going to find a lot of very independent women. They run their own business. The Native American culture was matriarchal. Matra meaning mother, archal. And the women kind of ran it. In fact, I think it was more like the grandmothers. And you hear about them talk about grandmother this and grandfather that. And it's like, You know, the grandparents are special to them, but especially grandmother. And there's a lot of love there with grandma. And then today, our society here in America is changing. Where it used to be patriarchal and is now going into matriarchal because the men are simply not around. The women raise the kids alone, and the men are just not around. You know, they come and visit now and then, which is not. I don't like that for the kids. I really don't. I remember once, I was a substitute teacher on and off for 20 years. I remember once I asked the kids, because they were acting up, junior high is hard to teach. And these kids were acting up, so I thought, oh, let's talk about normal everyday stuff. So how many kids here are raised in a family where you have both parents, mom and dad, you have both parents? Only just one or two hands went up, just a few. And I said, how many people here are in a family run by, you know, mom and your parents are divorced? And a few more went up. And I think we had half the room then. And then how many people here are run by, you know, your parents live together and they're not married? A few hands went up. And finally some kid from the back row piped in, how many kids here are, you know, from parents that are not married and never knew each other? That sort of thing. It's like a whole bunch of hands went up. And so I'm like, phew, you know, today, women run the home. Today, our societies are matriarchal. We've done a total flip. And so we have very independent women learning how to stand on their own 2 feet and beat men at their own game. And so, anyway, the question is, what if Jesus had been born a woman, a girl? Today, she would be well accepted. She would be really well accepted. People would have just thought the world of her. Kind of like Catherine Coleman, you know. But back then, she would have been a mystery. Maybe they would have even stoned her, you know. But think about that and think about what gift, spiritual gift, you would like that's mentioned in the Bible, and ask God for. This is important. And, you know, things from tongues to healing to helps to all the other gifts mentioned. And just look them up. And this is very special that Jesus was able to do this. Just walk up to a dead child and say, get up and walk, and she just got up. I would have loved to have been able to do that, wouldn't you? Yeah. I will see you tomorrow. And give me a thumbs up and subscribe, ring the bell. I'll see you. Bye-bye.